So Ariella and I are here today, and we're going to talk about basements here. So basements remodel, like basement remodel ideas and inspirations. So this is part one of a three-part series that we got going on. But before I go any further, Ariella, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I'm Ariel. I'm part of the Extra Mile team, and I get the opportunity to create beautiful spaces with our team. I get to help behind the scenes mostly, um, ordering, tracking selections, meeting with clients, doing different things, and updating contracts and paperwork and the fun stuff behind the scenes. All right, what about you, Justin?
Yeah, so what I do is I put together kind of between the wants and needs of things and tie it all together. So what we're expecting is what we actually got by the end of the project. And within that thing, it's kind of like the logistics of, for example, how far a cabinet goes, or how much space do you have for a toilet and a shower? What type of shower is this made? The space is made for, and things like that. And so when we're talking a little bit about basements, I think there's a couple things that a lot of people really overlook, especially when I'm talking to them and they bought a new house. And one of the things that I think a lot of people overlook, you're gonna have to wait for it because we got a quick announcement. So we are doing something new. 21 ways to host Christmas at your home. So every week, what we're gonna be doing is we'll have a contest happening. So for example, you take a picture, send do a cute what is it called, a hashtag of that week, and then when you send it in, what we'll do is that we'll have a gift for you, and every week the gift's a little different. So, for example, week one, mantle setup, the Merry Mantle masterpiece. We are fully in the festive experience this time, and so what you'll be doing is you'll be decorating your mantle and taking a picture of the mantle, and then sending it to us, and also hashtagging XMC Christmas 25 so that we can keep all together. If you do not have the social media, you can send us a photo through Google Form, and or even if you send it to us as a text message. But your photos will be shared on our website, so make sure that you know that if you win. All right, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, just read through the different things, and each week we'll announce the contest for that week, and at the end of the week, announce a winner and share your beautiful photo of how you're celebrating in your home.
And it doesn't just have to be this year, right? So if you have a photo of last year, or if you're one of our clients and you were able to snap a picture of, the kitchen table setup and things like that. This photo over on the left is actually one of my favorite people's houses there. My sister, we did a photo shoot over there last year. So, anyways, one more time. So in order to get something from the contest, there may be $100 gift card, there may be a gift card to somewhere, there may be actually a gift given to you. Each week is a little different because we have different people that are partnering with us. But the Merry first one, right, is the mantle setup. Second one is the table setup, and then also if you're a little late for week one or two, week three or week four, it's all good. Just throw it all on there and hashtag it, and we'll do it. We'll figure out the winners on that. So super excited to also talk about basements. Let's talk a little bit further. So one more thing is, since you guys are here, we have the basement breakthrough checklist. So what is this? This is basically when we're going through different basements, and we've gone through hundreds of basements at this time. I've been doing this for over 8 years. And then also within Extra Mile for it's coming up 10 this uh this next year.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyways, so one of the key things to go through is keeping things organized. I think a lot of times what happens is we get so caught up in our own, like my own story of, like, we have a basement that we're gonna be finishing, and it's been like 2 years of planning and prepping, and it's like we can't agree, and it just, I don't know. Maybe we agree just differently.
Yeah, and we haven't had too much time to like talk about it, like just sit down and come up with our plan.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm giving you the basement breakthrough checklist. The reason why we call it
Oh, thank you.
basement
It's for us.
breakthrough checklist. But I am trying to save my marriage.
What?
This is a cry for help on. I'm just joking. This is a tool that we use in order to communicate her wants and needs versus my wants and needs, right? So when we're going through this, even before you print out the basement checklist, I think it's really important, right? The we got one laugh. Thank you. Louis. So I think it's important to realize why you want to finish the basement, right? Your basement is not made for storage. Even if you live in Minnesota and you have a ton of storage, you know, got winter storage, spring, fall, you got all these things. It is not just made for storage. So reasons why we're looking to finish the basement is first and foremost so important and it's overlooked because I have people that usually come to me and they're like, we just want to put money back into our house so that we can get it out when we sell. The thing is what you're interested in, someone else is also interested in, and not, I don't think most people are interested in a giant storage space, especially it's 2025. You don't like, there's a lot of things that have happened and changed in our culture and industry that make it even more accessible to have storage more functional. Does that make sense? Like it's not always just
Yes.
a giant storage room. Sometimes it's now cabinets. Sometimes it's making a closet that actually you can put shelves in. You're not just throwing bins in there like I do, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and then another thing on a serious note, something that we really learned this last couple years was that something like, unfortunately, like COVID that happened, more than ever, people just needed more usable, comfortable space so that they could be home. So
mhm,
that's another reason to finish your basement is so that you can have more space when you need it. We tend to focus on the happy and cheery reasons why to have more space in
right.
your home
Mhm,
and make it usable and accessible to your family. But this was very much a very real and very serious reason why we got a lot of calls for basements to be finished and more added room because people
yeah,
don't have always the time or bandwidth to want to search for and look for another home. And we're big believers in like, give us a shot, let us take a look at your space, let us show you the beauty that maybe you haven't seen yet in your home and
mhm.
come up with creative ways to look at a space like you haven't seen it before.
Yeah. Well, and we were actually just talking to a client yesterday that this whole topic is so important, at least for me, because like my family, when we meet for Christmas and different things, we always meet at my grandparents' house. And so they have a finished
Mhm.
basement, and now we have like 50 people, 60 people all upstairs because someone's renting the basement, you know? So it kind of switched. But one of the topics that we just had, I think, is fairly important to think about is a lot of people I've been meeting recently, they've gone to a space where they had a house in the cities and they're moving out a little bit further towards Otsego, Elk River, or they're moving from out of state. They lived in Florida and they're moving back because all their kids stayed here. So the couple I was with yesterday, they had a house in Indiana. They moved towards Elk River, and now their kids are in like Plymouth and stuff. But what happened is that their house in Indiana, everyone used to travel and hang out there. But as the kids got older and the kids went into college age and they started having families, the mom was really sad because they always go over to their aunts and uncle's house because they have the space. And she has a beautiful heart, and she was with us yesterday, and she's like, "What can I do that wants people to come back home?" And I'm like, "I don't know at this exact moment. We gotta dive in and see what you need," because it was like, "Oh, we need an addition, we need a new kitchen." Their house is like 1 years old. They're like because we just need to figure it out. And she's like, I'll do whatever it takes in order to have my family, hang out at home. I don't want them staying at a hotel. I don't want to meet at a restaurant. That's what they did last year. They they're like, we want to have it where they can stay over a period of time. So I'm like, well, if you think about it, right, if we can make your kids a mini apartment within the house, if we were able to make it their own space, but it's open enough that when everyone's together, it's time to celebrate and enjoy. What if we can create that space for the family and then also create the space for the family? She told me to take my glasses off. And
It's just people can't see your eyes because of the
sorry,
glare.
my bad. Okay. Anyways, point was is um I think more times than not is that we keep creating and like there's always this conversation with realtors, which are great people, but it's just like resell, resell, resell. This couple, they're not reselling anytime soon, right? They just moved in their house. And then the other thing is like they have 20 people that are going to be together. And last year they were all in the living room and it was just and dining room, it was just a lot. And so they put like a heater in the garage and it was just a lot. So my point is when you're finishing the basement, it's more it's more than just a storage space once again. But what you're looking for is like once when the family is they've gone out and did their own thing and then they come back again, what happens to that space, right? It then becomes a craft room, it becomes a safe space for her to enjoy her things with and keep her creative solutions, not messes, right? Creative opportunities in a certain space so her husband can have whatever is going on upstairs. So I know I kind of got off on a tangent, but we're gonna drive this thing home quick. So just to recap, right? One more time, 21 days to host your Christmas at home contest. So hashtag we'll say what week is what, so keep on with our social media on that. So first one is the Mary Mantle masterpiece. So um, one more time, we're going to start off the conversation, right? Basement breakthrough checklist. So follow along with us throughout the series. You're going to need this. We're going to go through now the room and layout purpose and also couple frequently asked questions. So for those that have hung out with us, we've talked about this basement, but this basement is one of the best basements I know that was able, like one, because it's super cool and the clients were so grateful. They're so fun. Um, because it had a fun purpose behind what we were doing. But not only that, but like the upstairs is 1993 golden oak and their basement, right, is totally different than upstairs. And this is like I'm excited, right? Like this Christmas, they're gonna have a totally different experience when they get to host their family. So and then they have people from out of town staying over and stuff like that. So, layout, let's go through it a little bit. So when you come down the stairs, this is I believe I can't remember the builder. I think it was Lennar, but builder, right? You come downstairs up here. So the kitchen upstairs is actually right here. This is the living room upstairs area, and you come down the stairs. First, there's the nook area go through. The furnace room is here, and then they had a unique space where in the drawings, this whole thing was supposed to be storage. And instead, Ariella, her idea was want to explain a little bit about the living room setup here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we decided that we went over what was necessary for the client, and more than anything, it was just to have a space that was multi-use, multi-function, and could bring everybody from different generations in one space to enjoy, lounge, and just have fun with each other. So that area to the right of the storage, we ended up making into an area that can be both um, a little reading area. It could be also an area with a father and son who both enjoy photography can display their photography. We even had hardwire sconces there, so it feels like, a very special area for their art to be displayed. It can also be a game room for when the kids invite their friends over. Also, down below that, that's where we ended up putting the living room with cabinets for storage. And also, we kept a nice light and airy. We use whites and blues and oak colors to keep it very natural. So it very much feels like a main living space, not like you're
Mhm.
in a basement. And in addition to that, let's see, can you go to the next image, Justin? Let's see the next. Yeah, we ended up adding a gym. We talked about what was necessary, what machines they actually wanted to use, and we made it so it was just enough space for what they wanted it and the purpose they needed it, so that they both got the smaller gym private area. It still has light in there, but it doesn't take away from the rest of the space.
Yeah.
Um,
And that was, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
oh,
there.
oh, you're okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was actually a really good topic is so if you look at the rough in of this, right, when you're walking down there, this is all you see when you go down the stairs. And so one of the topics that we get is I don't want a bowling alley of a long, what is this? The basement's 48 feet long by 8, see what is that? 182, so it's roughly 14 foot 8 usable space. So it's just this 14 foot by 48 feet long. So the topic was like when people are hanging out and things like that is like
Yeah,
the bowling alley look, and then what do you do with furniture? That was a huge
yeah,
topic. Is like, what do you do? How do you make it? And I think that's something that's really important, right? Is when you're looking at the photos, one, when you're there, it doesn't feel like a bowling alley, and two, the wet bar and gym space, because originally the wet bar was I mean, the gym was actually gonna be in this nook here that they have like some of the games and photos and little sconces for. And I'm so glad that we ended up switching that from the gym area there to over here and put it in between this wall, even though it's a little bit more narrow. But because of the double doors, they were able to get what they needed for
right.
the equipment. And then
And
also, oh, go
it's
ahead.
next to the bathroom.
Exactly. That was the next thing. It was like it was next to the bathroom, and not only that, but like if you can think about hanging out and your kids are hanging out, and then one of
Yeah,
them wants to get away, well, it's just a cute spot right there.
yeah,
It's not weird. It
yeah,
people like they're like, well, there's a table in the middle of it. I'm like, well, that's because like if you're hosting, typically you're putting up a plastic table and you're right.
yeah. It can also be again for meals, it can be for games, it can be for homework. Now, the way that this is set up, it could be whatever they need as the kids get older or as they have their
Mhm.
friends over. And we really kept into account the different areas and how we set it up, because if somebody's watching TV, then maybe they don't want to hear somebody working out right next to them. And if somebody wants to go just work out, they want to be right next to the bathroom, right off of the stair area. So we
Mhm.
took all those things into account, as well as tried to marry the feel that the house had upstairs while still making it very much unique and
Right.
fresh in the basement.
Right. And some of the ways that we did that, right, is the the stain here is it's a similar stain to the golden oak, but it's not yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is the floor is warm. A lot of times in basements, you'll see dark floors for some reason, or it'll be super duper light. This is one of my favorite floors that we've done
Yeah,
that
me
can go
too. Me
with
too.
wood. And then the other part too, right, is the arches in the nook. But we're going to be covering, I mean, 3 different episodes of this, right? We're going to be covering different phases. But I just kind of wanted to give some peace of mind, right? Like, where do you start? Like, you start first and foremost with the questions. Like, your specific need is different than anyone else. Like, it's similar
Mm-hmm.
but different. And so, like with theirs, if we would have did it the way that we first talked about, we would have made one big bowling alley. And but then it was like that wasn't what they needed. What they
Yeah,
needed was a space that the teenagers could go down and have
yeah,
something. And they wanted to be the family that hosted like when their kids around they have like the hyena, like what is it called, what do they call them, the kids that like bounce around from house to house in Otsego, you know, like there's like these pack of kids that just kind of go from one place to another. And so then in the winter, where do they go, right? So they wanted to be that family. But super thanks, Ariella, for joining me today. This is part
thanks for
one.
having me.
Went a little bit deeper than I thought, but of course, as always, these things are always a little like they're simple to comprehend, but they're not always easy to get to that spot. So it's just kind of shaking it down and getting the right questions before you even talk to anybody. And go on Pinterest for 20 hours. So, any last things or ideas that you want to share?
No, I'm excited for the next episodes where we can dive a little deeper into the different details.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Once again, we have a homemade Christmas 21 days to host Christmas at home contest. I feel like a radio announcer, but it's important. I'm super excited, especially for some of my clients. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna show because I don't know if we showed any holiday things like this before. The
Not
stuff that
yet,
we've
so I'm
done.
excited for that.
Yeah. All right. So once again, we do have a checklist that you can follow along with us as we are going through the three different phases of it. So today was the um, ideas and inspiration, the questions, basically, right? All right.
Yes, and then how are people going to be able to access the checklist?
So there will be a QR code um, on the video. So you'd probably have to have video and then QR code, or you can write us. Um, That's an easy one. DM
Yeah,
us on the socials.
and
Um,
ask for the checklist.
anyways, thank you guys so much and see you soon.
Okay, bye.